Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
All right, y'all. So we moving into the last segment, which is the chat Q&A. It is Friday. It is Q&A Friday. So we do have a couple of questions that came in pre-show for the chat Q&A segment today. So I'm going to go through those real quick before we tap out. We right at about 1 hour and 5 minutes on the live. So we making good time, y'all. It don't even feel like I've been on here for an hour. Like I said, man, I get on this joint and go one on nobody every day. It's nothing. First question for chat Q&A. How long is your trauma an excuse for your repeated behaviors? Whew. Okay, so depends on the age. Depends on age. I do think that people heal, people grow, people seek healing, people get on their journeys, spiritual and otherwise. They do all those things at different times in life. So to give an answer to that, how long is your trauma? It depends on when you experience the trauma. And then it depends on, because if you experience trauma as a child, oftentimes people don't deal with their childhood trauma until they're an adult, right? So how long is your trauma an excuse for your repeated behaviors? It depends on when your trauma happened or the said trauma that's causing the behavior. Whatever that root one is, that's going to be contingent upon that. So I can't really give like a straight answer or a definitive answer, but I would say within reason, right? Like we all have desires. We all set, goals and we all have ideas in our mind of where we want to get to in life and what certain things look like for ourselves. I would just say, if you're in a situation where some trauma you've been through, have you operating outside of alignment for progress, then, how long is it going to be an excuse for? I think it's until you get sick of being in a cycle. Like you see people saying like, oh, I keep running into the same type of people over and over again. And oftentimes it's because you haven't changed. You haven't grown yourself. That's oftentimes what that ends up being. You haven't changed. You haven't grown. And so, yeah, you're going to keep running into the same person in a different body and going through the same thing until you become more so you can attract different. You know what I mean? Become different so you can attract different. Joe Jett said, trauma can't be the story of your life and hold you back from progress. That's very true. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Oftentimes it is for a lot of people, because the more soft society has been, the more people have been able to use trauma as an excuse long term. Because instead of somebody saying, build a bridge and get over it, or life's tough, get a helmet, they telling you, I understand, and they empathizing when it's a bad time to do so. Empathy oftentimes is good to exhibit, but there's a bad time to over empathize. You can empathize to the point where you're an enabler. Like, yeah, I understand what you're going through. I also understand how to get the fuck up and come up out of it, right? Like, I understand how to move on from it too. Like, how long are you going to stay in this spot? Are you enjoying it here? Let's ask all the right questions. Do you like, because some people genuinely like it. Do you like being in the woe is me state? Are you enjoying it? Do you like being looked at like, oh, poor you, and, moving around pitiful? If you're enjoying it, by all means, we shouldn't be seeking a resolution. We shouldn't be seeking a resolution if you're enjoying it. But if you actually, don't like it and you actually want to come up out of anxiety, depression, or whatever it is that you experience and due to trauma, commitment issues, whatever your side effect of the trauma is that's impacting your life, if you want to change that, then at some point you will have to stop feeling sorry for yourself. Sooner is always better than later when it comes to that. But taking the amount of time that you need is just as important. So I hope y'all got what y'all need from that response. I believe Souls of Thought actually sent this question in. So shout out to Souls of Thought. And shout out to Joe Jett in the chat. Shout out to Rob in the chat. Shout out to JD in the chat. Shout out to the whole chat. Shout out to everybody that slid through, that's on the move, that can't be active in the chat, but they tapped in and listening to the broadcast today. It's the best daytime live on YouTube that you're going to get. It's the Classic Codes, the best daytime live that you're going to get. And that's just what it is. We got another question of the day. Where did modesty go? And why are there so many people who don't want family anymore? Where did modesty go? And why are there so many people who don't want family anymore? I think these questions, or the questions, are beautifully put. They do coincide with one another. I think modesty went out the window with social media. Modesty went out the window with podcasting. Modesty went out the window with capitalism. Modesty went out the window with swagger rap. Modesty went out of the window with prostitution culture, right? You can't get this for free. What do you have to offer? Modesty went out the window with feminism. Modesty went out the window. So that's where modesty went. Modesty's gone. I don't know. The modest people are looking for each other, and they're dating each other, and they're getting married, and they're being realistic, and they're living happily ever after. The rest of the people who want to operate inside of delusion, superficiality, and capitalism are suffering when it comes to love, marriage, relationships, dating, and the like. And why are there so many people who don't want family anymore? Because largely there's a population of modern women who don't want responsibility anymore. If you listen closely to a lot of let's start with the different subsets of women, because I discussed yesterday how men are reactionary. We want women. We want that thing. We want that, right? So what women kind of lay out for us as the roadmap to getting them, a lot of us will attempt to become. Not necessarily me, because I believe in just I'm doing what I'm doing, and whoever like what they see and like how I'm doing it, then that's what I'm gonna choose from. The batch of women that fall in alignment with that. I'm not forcing nothing, but for the people, for the women who have taken on certain ideologies and viewpoints and believe that there's no something for nothing, and I don't really need you, so if I'm gonna have you, you got to be bringing this and that to my life. And you got women who are saying, again, superficiality, capitalism, all these things are in the way. You got to make certain amount of money or you don't qualify, so these people aren't ever going to marry anybody at all, right? So that's in the way from people having families and getting together in the first place. But it's not stopping people from fucking. They're having kids, plenty of those. So yeah, why are there so many people who don't want family? They don't want the obligations. Fuck them kids is a real slogan out here. Who would have thought? Who would have thought we would get to a day in society and in culture where fuck them kids is a real slogan? It's a real slogan out here. So with that being said, and I get that there's some humor behind it and whatnot, but I would consider that to be dark humor, wouldn't you? I would consider fuck them kids to be dark humor. So with that being said, we have to just look at the full landscape of this thing. There's a lot of reasons why people don't want families anymore, but you still have a lot of people who hopelessly say that that's what they desire, but their actions aren't really in alignment with acquiring those things. So it's rough. It's rough. The one of the original question of the day I had before Six Society sent over their question of the day, I don't have it typed out here, but it was actually about where do relationships go from here. So we talk about what the current climate is, what it consists of, what it looks like, what's wrong with it. We discuss all these things. What's the next shift? What's the next by and large change or wave that we're going to see in modern relationships? When I think about it and I look at where things are right now, I think you're going to start seeing a lot more people getting married in their older years. I think within the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to see a lot of weddings of like 45 and 50-year-olds. Not that they're not happening already. I'm saying that we're going to see an influx, a spike. I think there's going to be a lot of women who are hitting the wall, and because of it, they are going to be tapering their expectations, their standards, their requirements, their perspectives. They're going to be tailoring and tapering those things more towards reality and getting some results that are real. And you're going to have a populace of men who are still interested in giving grace to those women and saying, hey, baby, I'm still right here. And they going to get together and rock out. I think we're going to see an influx of old head weddings. I think we're going to see that. In regards to the younger generations, though, over the next 10, 15 years, where do I think things are going right now? I think that it's hard to say. It really is difficult to say because you had the OnlyFans phenomenon. So you got a whole populace of women where it ain't no coming back from that. Then you got but again, it might be some brothers that's willing to give grace. It's just a matter of when those sisters get to a point in their lives where they see those brothers as qualified for them. This the luxury of being a woman is that there's always going to be a man that finds you attractive. I don't care what you look like, but do you like him? So that's the catch-22. So, but yeah, I don't know about the youth. I don't really have a clear understanding of how that's going to go. I'm trying to think about a trajectory or a prediction because I'm looking at where they at right now, the type of things that are cool, I see a lot of people focused. I see a lot of the youth that are entrepreneurs and go-getters. I see, the streamer university crowd. I see the people who are monetizing AI. I see the youth that are getting off into starting their own businesses. I see a lot of the private school kids, right? Or even the public school kids that are making private school type moves because we're in the age of information. So these shorties is acquiring info and they taking that info and they running with it. And you see a lot of young men leveling up and getting to real significant grown man money at young years. So, with that being said, I know that could breed one of two things. It could breed a wild child, right? Where they running around doing some crazy stuff, or it could breed, somebody who is a dope leader and can inspire a generation of younger folks to be on their A game and be on their shit and level themselves up too. So it's hard to say which way it's going to go as far as a majority. I just know both exist. And then you got the youth that represent like the YNs, the ski mask shorties running around here trying to be tough, be hard. And they bought into everything that rap and media sold them. And they just deciding that they, prefer to be ignorant. So I think that's the minority. I think that's the one because it's the copper colored people sometimes. And there's all colors actually, right? Because you got this slogan going around called white YNs and all of that. So everybody want to be gangster. So, I think those are the people who get a lot of publicity in the media for said reason, for whatever reasons. But, those are the ones that get a lot of pub. But I do think that's the minority. I think the majority of the youth actually want to grow up and be something. And so I do see, as far as success and careers, I see a bright future for the youth, if I'm being honest. But as far as dating and relationships, I really can't call it. It's a coin flip. It's a coin flip. I think most people are sheep, and they always have been. And honestly, I think it depends on where the shepherds want to take them. There's still sociology at the end of the day. So whenever there's too much of something, there's going to be a dramatic shift back in the other direction. It's cyclical at the end of the day. So, just like you seeing baggy clothes come back, maybe like women keeping their body counts low and being proud about it will come back. Maybe, being more natural as by and large type thing will come back. We just have to wait and see on that. I don't have a clear answer. But yeah, man, it's been a great live show. We headed towards an hour and 20 minutes. So we're gonna tap out on this one. I have a shit ton of editing to do, y'all. So you know what that means for y'all. There's a lot of videos coming y'all way. I've been grinding my ass off for y'all. So I got a lot of content coming. It's going to be a lot of breakdowns of the lives and stuff like that so that y'all can easily digest it. I know going back and watching a full hour and 30 minutes, 2 hours is difficult sometimes, but y'all know I'm going to chop it up and make it easy for y'all because y'all are the ones that's going to get me to where I'm trying to go. And so I'm going to serve y'all. Y'all serve me. Fair exchange ain't never been no robbery. If you want to support the channel, look at this banner right here going across the bottom, right? If you want to support my channel, you can just cash at me, or you can go to my website and grab that merch. I got the Code Language t-shirt out, and I got the Classic Codes tumbler cup out. Ladies, the tumbler cup is really dope. It's got the stainless steel straw. It is not spill proof though, so you got to keep it up right. But I think it's going to have you right for the gym. I think it's going to have you right for that car cup holder. Fellas, it's in dark colors, so it's good for us too. It's nice and like, masculine, feminine type vibe, right? It's one of those. So, but the t-shirt, the Code Language t-shirt is dope and it's raw for everybody. And I got it in multiple colors. So y'all tap in. Everything on my website is under $40. So, put a couple coins together if y'all want to support the channel. If not, it's all good. Support me the free way. Subscribe, keep watching, keep liking, keep commenting, keep sharing the word. And because at the end of the day, we got to crack these codes. We got a real mission over here. But in closing, y'all know exactly what I'm going to say. If you don't do nothing else, do it for me. Stick to the codes. We got another classic, man.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Harden my heart and now harden the flow. They don't know me for real, they just... Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Harden my heart and now harden the flow. They don't